I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. In this video, we're going to have another look at the Bitcoin market of today. The cryptocurrency overall, is Bitcoin crashing? That is the question. The market is a little bit green, overall quite red as of today. Things are still up in the weekly average. However, things are turning quite red quite quickly overall. And that has specifically to do with Bitcoin taking a little bit of a dip. It appears that the market is quite overreacting in my opinion. But then again, nothing in this video is financial advice. It is for entertainment purpose only, just my opinion. Basically from 7 a.m. this morning, hitting about 45.2k, basically short-term all-time high. Right, then basically crashing down a little bit to about 43k, still a lot higher than we have been for a while, but people panic. The market is panicking. People are wondering, is this a bull trap? What is currently going on? When we look at the top 100 coins, we can definitely see Ethereum doing a small pullback. You can basically see the graphs right here. Everything that's getting like a small twist at the top has a small pullback from 5% all the way to 10, 15% on some coins. And that is, in my opinion, quite significant for such a small, mediocre adjustment on Bitcoin itself. If it fell down below 40k, that is definitely a big problem. But I do understand that the technical analysis guys had that 44, 45k as a support marker, which has now fell through to 43k. So they might be panicking. Anyway, I don't do technical analysis, nothing like that. I think that is probability is definitely important, but it doesn't foresee the future. What I do see right now actually is a lot of red. Right, so 6 to 10% is basically the average. Kadena and IOTAX, I believe, are the only ones still pumping. However, even if we open up IOTAX, you can see that the pump that initially occurred here is already sloping towards a linear downward trend. You can see a significant amount of added volume. I don't know exactly why that is. I have been at a game studio. I visited a game studio today. Which has kept me busy for almost all day, so I haven't been too much in the loop. However, they must have made some major announcement, or there's some major announcement upcoming for this coin to pump so significantly out of the blue, right? Nothing on their Twitter as of now, but there was a significant pump right here. Basically maybe a new exchange connection or something like this, but they have the major exchanges covered. Anyway, looking at the other currencies, the market, I would say, is still in a quite good position. These pullbacks, obviously they happen, and in my opinion, people should not panic, definitely. When we look at the crypto gaming scene, obviously the most important section of this video, what we're all looking for hopefully when you come to my videos, definitely strong pullbacks of up to 15%, right? So 5% down on Mana, 6% down on Sandbox almost, 8.5% on XC, Gala over 10%. For Gala it makes sense, they made such ridiculous gains this week. So for a little bit of a pullback, 10% is even not that significant. Vulcan dropping quite hard, 15% already, while we're still in the drop at the moment. Yield Guild Games, not that significant, right? For their structure, basically, the guilds have been quite stable. If we scroll down, we have about a 12% drop on UFO Gaming, which makes sense because they have made significant gains as well in the last week and a half. Things like Veracity, only 9%. It is not as significant as with the top 100, where the top 100 perhaps gained 15% and is now delivering 3 to 5% in the red. That is a lot more significant than gaining 45% and giving back 10%, right? The gains are still very much there. However, there are some coins, 18% already, 15%. You can see that there's a lot of paper hands dumping these coins in there for the quick flips. And I mean, if it is what it is, of course, right? People can do whatever the fuck they want. I do definitely do that as well, but I already got out a day and a half ago. So I didn't ride the wave all the way to the top. I learned to take profits early. That is my new strategy, right? Would have, could have, should have, but you didn't is the worst thing basically in this market. Because people are like, oh my God, Bitcoin is going to 50K. And I took out my Vulcan already higher than it is right now. So this is basically the last, well, what was this? The last 6 hours that it basically, 7 hours, 8 hours, that it basically crashed down, where there were lots of indicators that you could exit. But if you didn't, then you're dumb cunt. No, no, I'm kidding. But you're definitely not that smart if you wanted to make a short-term play, because the indications, sorry, maybe a little bit too savage. There were enough indications along the way that would hint you that you could get out and it was going to decline more. Can we ever call the bottom? No. However, if the market is bloody red like this, you can assume that it will continue for the next couple of hours, or at least until Bitcoin stabilizes and or reverts its direction. However, right now it just keeps on dropping. We went back to 43.8 and right now we're at about 43.1. So as long as it holds, I would say, I'm not a TA guy, but above 40, I think we're good to go. However, there are some major plays being made in the gaming scene, and I have made some moves as well very early this morning because I had to go to that game studio. Hint, hint. But that gaming space moves have been made. And I made my moves actually on SuperFarm. So I got myself some SuperFarm tokens, which I already said a long time ago I didn't make, so no entry. So I told you guys to buy at 60 cents, right? I bought myself at about 88 cents, something like this, right? 80 cents, something like that range. So definitely should have purchased when I told you to, but I didn't. Not a problem for me. I bought about $3,000 worth because I want to participate in the Imposters launch. In the Imposters, what is that? Imposters coming soon. An online multiplayer social deduction game developed and published by SuperFarm, right? And this is what I want to be a part of. And in order to get whitelisted, you need a SuperFarm Genesis NFT. This is my own collection, of course, but you need a SuperFarm Genesis NFT. And they're not that cheap because these are not eligible to be whitelisted. It's only the names. Jazz is not included and Falcon is also not included. So Cyberchef, Hype Lord, Lunar Prophet, Pool Shark, Yieldmaster, Falcon Box, and the Institution. So the floor right now is about 2.45 ETH, which comes down to about $7,500. Definitely pricey. However, there's a lot of interest. So they're being sold today like crazy. And here is me 7 hours ago at 9 a.m. in the morning for about $7,800. I bought this Pool Shark, which I thought was the coolest one. I'm just going to do it so I can join Imposters. I will actually keep this NFT. I'm not going to flip it because I didn't even know about these NFTs, but they have long-term perks as described here. So I'm going to hold on to this NFT. And somebody once bought it for half an Ethereum, so they made a good flip. But I bought it for 2.5, which is all good with me. And now I am the owner of a Pool Shark SuperFarm Genesis NFT. But I'm mainly looking forward to this Imposters game launch because I am obviously in Neo Tokyo and they spoke a lot about it. I was a little bit late because I don't have too much time, but I do like what SuperFarm is trying to do and what SuperFarm is building out. So Imposters is coming very soon. We still need to wait for the official announcements. Nothing being set in stone, but this is what I've heard through the communities, and that's what I decided to take action on. So I have so for the actual whitelist, they can participate in SuperFarm token, and the public mint is actually in Ethereum, right? So I don't know how much these NFTs will be. Somebody said 1 Ethereum, other people said half an Ethereum. So I'm just gonna wait until the official announcement, which should be somewhere this week or next week, and then we can move forward on that. Definitely quite a big investment. Definitely a long-term play. So if you're into short-term flipping, I would not look at this because it's more of a maybe advanced. It's quite a bit of money, you know, $10,000 just to participate. But I think it has significant potential in the medium long term. So imposters on SuperFarm, definitely a lot of potential right there. They launched Apes Are Us not too long ago, 21 days ago. It was a tremendous success. So yeah, very bullish on SuperFarm. That's why I've been covering it for the last week and a half in these daily videos. Right? When we look at the other Launchpad tokens, you can definitely see the Bitcoin adjustment is getting to them, right? So if we look at the actual Bitcoin adjustment, still hovering around that 43K, you can see a little pump there, 43.4, little leg up. You can definitely see that the Launchpads are suffering again, right? So the Launchpads don't recover that fast on a Bitcoin pump, like for example the gaming tokens do. They suffer a little bit more, which makes sense because Launchpads are based on IDOs, and IDOs are based on market confidence. If the market confidence is not there, there's a definitely bearish pattern in the market, then these Launchpads need more time to get that trust back into the market. So basically, when you look at the fear and greed index, they need to be in normal to greed. So right now it's neutral, but it will go back in the next update to fear. They would have to be in this range. Anywhere from here to here is the good Launchpad IDO growth potential. And this here is like the negative space. If there's too much fear, people are not confident, they're not going to put their money in these launches. And the worst thing for a launch in general is not to sell out their allocation, right? Because basically it means people don't believe in it, people do not have enough trust in it, which is terrible. In that case, they need to offer more allocation to single investors, and those single investors can then influence or manipulate the price of the token more by either holding, that would be great, but more likely dumping, which would suck because there's no support to catch that dump, which means the token will crash and the project will be ruined. So definitely not a good time for the Launchpads. Great opportunity in my opinion if you're looking to get into Launchpads, because you can get in quite cheap. Would I buy today? No. Would I wait if Bitcoin goes down more? Yes. I would definitely not FOMO into projects. I would definitely, as a great skill, follow the fear and greed index, right? So when it's neutral, it's definitely not a good time to buy. When there's greed, it's a good time to sell, right? But do keep consistent with checking that. When we look at some of our more favorite projects that we've covered, looks rare, 3.4, right? So definitely on a steady decline from 3.8 this morning, but you can see a linear downward trend very significantly. Let me check that APR, see what that's at. It's about 500 still. The halving is coming up. The halving only counts for looks, not for WETH. However, still significant reduction right there. When we look at other tokens, for example, FN, I don't think FN is working. Yeah, it is working now again. Okay, so this dump was basically because it wasn't being tracked properly, but the vesting was released today. However, FN did amazing catching the dump of the vesting. So some of the vesting was unlocked today, and you can obviously expect a dump there. When you look at FN, it was a major move, and that's why I said this team has high potential. It just shows all across the board. They took an investor on Jake Paul into FN, where basically the token dumped, they made the announcement, and basically it pumped again. They basically corrected the entire dump with this one announcement, which is obviously huge. They made some other investor announcements, but in general, I think that it's not genius, but it's definitely semi-genius. Very much of a good move that FN is making by understanding how to play the market, right? How to play that game. So very, very bullish on this project still. Everything is looking really good. Other gaming tokens that I've recently looked at, well, the guilds, of course. So Good Games Guild still taking hits, going in a linear downward trend. Yield, same thing. So basically, as soon as their gaming portfolio pumps, they pump as well. When it goes down, they go down as well. Right, let me check Unix real quick. Unix Gaming, also down 19.3, took another hit, a linear downward trend. There's not that much volume at all, so there's definitely some shock. So somebody sells a significant amount, which is this in this case about 100K. So 100K would basically drop the price by 1 cent. So definitely small trades can have a large impact there. When we look at something we haven't looked at for quite a while, Magicraft, they did come with a apologies. They did come with a small NFT update that soon they will mint NFTs, and they asked the people if they wanted to use Magicraft to mint. Well, I think that makes sense. If that happens, I will look back and basically perhaps take another entry. Soul Chicks has about 1 week until the next vesting is released. It will be a disaster because it's steep under IDO price, 1.2 cents, and on that vesting it will go near 2 cents most likely. Monkey Ball changed its name to Monkey League to fit the future better. MBS, yes. So it's still called MBS token, but it's now called Monkey League because they want to build out more games. In regards to that, there was quite a significant pump, but there's a downward trend. And in general, I'm still really negative about this project. So don't ask me to cover it again, please and thank you. When we look at other games that we definitely haven't looked at in a while, it's Genopads, for example. But when we look at the spiral there, we see a significant linear downward trend. That happens because these games are still with a long trajectory of development, right? Which then means that in the short term, they might have some small pumps, right? Like this, market is bullish, they go up. However, with the same speed, this will move down because they don't have any major exchanges except FTX, which they had on the start already, right? So that's basically where not even the majority of the volume is covered. It's still covered on Radium, which is surprising, but yeah, there's just not enough exposure. They need to do a lot more marketing, but I assume they will do that once the game is ready, right? So as of today, definitely very much focused on SuperFarm, right? The Imposters announcements coming up. That is the biggest news of today. Otherwise, let's hope or let's see what Bitcoin is going to do. There's a small upward trend right now, 43.5K-ish, and see what tomorrow holds. Gaming crypto as of today, we can conclude one thing: extremely volatile still. So when making any short-term plays, this might be an interesting opportunity. Do know that it carries a lot of risk. We'll be back tomorrow covering more crypto gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.